Live from Washington, D.C. on Constitution Avenue, welcome to the National Memorial Day Parade. Please welcome the 300-voice Memorial Day Festival Chorus under the direction of Cindy Petty. It's an annual tradition from Washington, D.C., the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade. With Grand Marshal and Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot on their legendary raid in World War II, Lieutenant Colonel Richard E. Cole. Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Wesley Fox. Honorary Celebrity Marshal, Gary Sinise. Plus hundreds of decorated veterans and active duty personnel. With performances by Grammy winner Sugar Land's Kristian Bush, Miss America 2014 Nina Davuluri, the West Point Alumni Glee Club, Special Correspondent Miss America 2008 Kirsten Haglund, all in honor of those who have sacrificed for our freedom. It's coming to you from Constitution Avenue. And now, please welcome your hosts, J.R. Martinez and Rita Cosby.
Avenue here in Washington, D.C. for the American Veterans Center's 10th Annual National Memorial Day Parade. I'm J.R. Martinez, and it's a complete honor for me to be here with all of you. I served the United States Army. I was injured 11 years ago in Iraq, and ever since that day, I understood and I realized that service does not end. It continues, and I'm honored to be here today to remind Americans that today is about honoring those that have made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom that we enjoy every single day.
And JR, I'm delighted to be with you. I'm Rita Cosby, of course, TV news host, but most importantly, I'm the daughter of a World War II POW who was rescued by American troops. My dad was 90 pounds when he was saved by U.S. forces after he escaped a Nazi prisoner of war camp. So it's a real honor to be with all of you. We want to welcome all of our viewers joining us today nationwide, watching on Reels. We would also like to welcome service members watching around the world on the Pentagon channel and online at military.com.
That's right, Rita. The National Memorial Day Parade calls attention to the true meaning of Memorial Day, honoring those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve our freedoms, from the American Revolution to the current generation that has served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Today's parade will include special tributes to our men and women who have served and sacrificed throughout our country's history.
And indeed, so many have. And to help us with today's coverage stateside is former Miss America, our friend, Kirsten Haglund. Hello, Kirsten.
Hi, good afternoon, JR and Rita. It is so great to be back for my third year for the parade. I'm going to be bringing you coverage from the parade route here on the streets of D.C. JR put me up to that one, I swear. But it's so great to be here. We're also going to be talking to some very special guests throughout the broadcast. So back to you, JR and Rita.
Thank you, Kristian.
Kristian, I'm glad that she embraced, saying that she's coming live from the streets of D.C.
Exactly.
I'm proud of you, Kristian.
We are our nation's capital, right in the heart of it all.
Well, Rita, what do you say? I think it's time for us to have a parade.
I think it's time, and I think we are starting off in great fashion, JR,
Yes, we
because
are.
joining us now is someone that we all recognize. Great actor, great patriot, Gary Sinise, who has been a longtime supporter of our Veterans and National Memorial Day Parade. And Gary, first of all, we love having you here. You do so much for the troops. What made you become so passionate?
Oh gosh, like you, veterans in my family. I have World War II veterans. I have my dad served during Korea. My grandfather was an ambulance driver in France in World War I, and then Vietnam veterans on my wife's side. My wife's sister served in the Army, and their son just got back from his second deployment in Afghanistan. So lots of veterans in my family, and that's where it all begins.
Well, you do a lot. I mean, I think it's known, a lot of people know that you do a lot of work, especially with the Lieutenant Dan Band, constantly going overseas and performing for troops, whether it's domestic or abroad. But you and Robert Augustinelli are co-chairman of the Friends of the National Memorial Day Parade. Why is this event so special to you?
Awareness, keeping awareness up. That's an important thing. A lot of people can say the words of, supporting our troops and, honoring their sacrifices and all of that. But I think it's very, very important after 13 years of war, especially, and going on 14 years of war in Afghanistan, that we do more within our communities to support our veterans. If every community in this country took charge and made it a priority to honor and serve the needs of our veterans in those communities, we'd have a much reduced problem with taking care of our veterans.
Well, you're a leading man in that category, and we thank you for everything that you've done and all the hard work that you continue to put in. We know it's difficult with scheduling and time, but you make the time and you make the effort, man, and we really appreciate it from this community. Thank you.
And make sure also the Gary Sinise Foundation, too. Everybody checks it out. Gary, thank you. You keep up the great work. We love having you here. Thank you so much.
It's always good seeing you, Gary.
And we want to talk to our street reporter. Actually, let's go, if we could. A special thank you to the American Veterans Center. We want to thank them for organizing today's parade and also for bringing this tradition back to Washington, D.C. Until the parade's founding in 2005, Washington had been without the tradition of a Memorial Day parade for nearly 70 years.
The parade is always led by a riderless horse, meant to be a solemn moment honoring those who have died in service to our country and reminding us of the true meaning of Memorial Day. We are honored to welcome the ceremonial honor guard consisting of marching platoons from each branch of the armed services. These platoons are under the Order Joint of Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, Military District of Washington.
Hello, I'm Major General Jeff Buchanan, Commander of Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, and the United States Army Military District of Washington. On behalf of all the men and women in the United States Army and the entire Joint Force serving in the National Capital Region, I'd like to welcome everybody to Washington, D.C. and this year's National Memorial Day Parade. Today, we honor and remember American service members, ordinary men and women performing their duty who died while in military service. We vow that their sacrifices shall never be forgotten. These fallen heroes share a special heritage and common bond of courage and selfless service with today's military. We're proud to represent our nation's military in today's parade and ask that on this special day, you remember all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen serving in Afghanistan and around the world. Enjoy today's parade. Army strong.
Joining us in the parade today are platoons from each branch of the armed forces, including the United States Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard.
And here is the Army's Old Fife and Guard. Take a look at these great uniforms, JR, and the Drum Corps. From the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard is the only musical unit of its kind in the United States Air Forces, Armed Forces. They are appearing in uniform patterns after those worn by musicians in General George Washington's Continental Army. Don't they look fantastic?
I tell you what, I could pull that off.
Yeah, you could, but you'd look good in one of those, I think.
So? Red?
Yeah,
maybe red with the color of my skin, maybe. And here is the Grand Marshal of this year's parade, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Richard E. Cole. We had the amazing opportunity to meet him last night and spend some time with him, Rita. An amazing man.
What an incredible guy. I had the pleasure of introducing him at the Kennedy Center. He got a standing ovation at the Kennedy Center. And JR, Lieutenant Colonel Cole was one of 80 men who took part in the legendary Doolittle Raid on Tokyo on April 18, 1942. Led by the famed aviator Jimmy Doolittle, the raid was the first strike back at Japan following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. He's our Grand Marshal today. Also remember, that attack launched the United States into World War II. This man, he's about to be 99 in September.
Wow.
And Lieutenant Colonel Cole served as Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot on that historic raid. He's only one of 4 of the Doolittle Raiders still alive today, sharp as a tack.
The United States Park Police Horse Mounted Unit was established in 1934 and is one of America's oldest police equestrian organizations in the United States. This year, they are celebrating 80 years of devoted service. Officers are assigned to the federal parks in D.C., New York City, San Francisco, and within the National Park Service.
These dedicated officers that you see here are assigned to major demonstrations and special events in Washington, D.C. to maintain order, protect, and to serve. Members also enjoy participating in local community events and programs. They are proud to serve and protect in our nation's capital.
And from the state of California and under the direction of Neil Anderson, please welcome the 120-member Marietta Valley High School Band and Color Guard. The school's music program provides a unique opportunity for students to gain appreciation and knowledge of music and art, while developing the skills necessary to achieve success throughout a lifetime of experience.
And music students have fun meeting friends and traveling to new and exciting places as they represent their school and community. The group has received numerous first-place awards in competitions in recent years.
Our next float is sponsored by Military Order of the Purple Heart Service Foundation. The Purple Heart is a nonprofit organization whose primary purpose is to serve the needs of our veteran community through VA counseling, employment assistance, and medical research grants.
The foundation is honored and to serve all veterans and their families. It's a proud sponsor of this parade for our military. For more information or ways that you can help, go to purpleheartfoundation.org.
They sound great.
Yeah, they sure do. And also, appearing with them is one of the strongest supporters of our military in Hollywood, somebody we know all too well, Gary Sinise, who's appearing in his 9th straight National Memorial Day Parade.
He's amazing.
He is incredible,
He is
as we
amazing.
just heard. He is so selfless. There he is.
And look at him taking selfies.
Yeah,
He's
look at
taking
that man.
selfies.
He is an internet guru,
Go,
I'm
Gary.
telling you. Go, Gary. And he's riding with our honorary Grand Marshals, wounded warriors from the conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. Salute all you guys.
Since 1967, the United States Marine Corps Mounted Color Guard has represented the Marine Corps in numerous events throughout the United States. This is the only remaining mounted color guard in the Marine Corps today.
America's heroes are mounted on America's living legend Wild Mustangs of Palomino color from the Bureau of Land Management Adopt a Horse program. Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Garcia is the staff NCO in charge of the Mounted Color Guard station in Barstow, California.
And as part of a special tribute to the United States Marine Corps, we welcome the multi-era Marine Color Guard. The Color Guard is made up of Marines from Quantico and the Historical Company. They provide outreach and traveling educational programming focused on telling the Marine Corps story. They also provide training and material support to other agencies.
And as part of their mission, they maintain an extensive stock of Marine Corps historical uniforms ranging from the American Revolution to today. They got a full throttle of centuries right there. The Color Guard represents the various battle flags of the Marine Corps over the past 239 years.
That's amazing.
Look how beautiful that looks. How
They're in sync
fabulous.
too. They're in sync.
They got it timed out. How wonderful to see so many generations of warriors.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Honorary Grand Marshal and one of our nation's great military heroes, retired Marine Corps Colonel Wesley L. Fox.
Colonel Fox served on active duty for 43 years and is the recipient of the Medal of Honor, our nation's highest military award for valor during the Vietnam War. Colonel Fox was also highly decorated during the Korean War and is one of the great heroes in Marine Corps history.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome with us with us is the Grand Marshal, Lieutenant Colonel Richard E. Cole, co-pilot with Jimmy Doolittle on the raid on Tokyo, April 18, 1942. Colonel Cole, welcome.
Thank you.
98 years young.
You are sharp. The first task is I hope I make it to 98, and if I do, I hope I'm as sharp as you are.
I want to look as good as him when I hit 48 or 58.
Well, I got the right haircut so far, so that's working in my favor. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Cole, the Doolittle Raid was truly an amazing turning point in World War II. What has it meant to you to be a part of such an iconic moment in American military history?
Well, I was honored to be a member of the Doolittle Raid, and I hope that and wish that they were all here.
Yes, sir.
And since they're not, I extend my
It must be very special for you to keep the legacy alive, Colonel Cole. What does that mean to you?
Well, one thing that I'd like to straighten out is that we did not like to be singled out because we were just a big part of the big picture, and we were happy with that.
Well, I will tell you, you know why you didn't want to be singled out? Because you're a hero, and I think so humble. And we thank you. This country thanks you, and it's such an honor to have you here, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. What a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Well, we would love to have you here all day long, but you got a car to get back to.
You
you're
relieve
busy.
me right there.
You have a big crowd to get back to, too, by the way.
So for the past 20 years, there has been one place in America where grieving military families can find help, hope, and healing.
And the Tragedy Assistance Program is one of them. It's called TAPS.
She said go.
Can I go now?
For the past 20 years, there has been one place in America where grieving military families can find help, hope, and healing. The Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, also known as TAPS. They are bringing you this next float, and appearing on the float are families of our fallen heroes. Also riding with them is another famous military family, Robert Griffin Jr. and Jacqueline Griffin, both U.S. Army veterans and some big supporters of our military, but also parents of Washington Redskins quarterback Robert Griffin III.
How cool is that? And I love what this group does. When a service member dies, their family is given a dignified burial, a folded flag, and the gratitude of this very grateful nation. They are also connected to TAPS for ongoing military casualty aftercare. And TAPS actively serves more than 50,000 survivors with 24/7 support services, retreats, camps, also survivor seminars, community-based programs, casework, and also crisis response, which is so needed, as you know.
Now, we'll be back for more coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this.
Coming up from the National Memorial Day Parade in Washington, D.C., the parade honors American heroes from the American Revolution through today, plus performances from Kristian Bush and Miss America.
36.
Welcome back to Constitution Avenue and the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade.
And we're so thrilled to be here. This is Rita Cosby, also J.R. Martinez. And we want to thank Johnson's Florist and also Garden Centers for providing the beautiful floral arrangements right here in front of us.
I'm taking them
No
home.
stealing them, J.R., even though they are gorgeous. No stealing them. And now we want to go to Kristian, who's on the sidelines. Kristian Hagelin, the beautiful former Miss America. Kristian, what do you got for us?
Hi, I've got Tabitha Bonilla here with me. She is from the Fort Bragg, North Carolina office of TAPS, which is the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. So Tabitha, tell me, what is TAPS?
TAPS is Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. We do peer-to-peer mentor support, as well as good grief camps, national seminars, which many of our families are at right now. We do retreats and grief camps for our families, the kids, siblings, parents, anyone that has been affected by the loss of their service member. We largely serve our Iraq and Afghanistan families who have lost their service members due to tragedies.
So what does Memorial Day, this incredible day, mean to you and to TAPS?
Well, it's a day that we take to actually remember our loved ones that have served and did not come back from that service. So it's a time of remembrance, but also celebrating those lives and memories.
And is there anyone in particular that you're remembering today?
Absolutely, all the service members that have gone on before us and died, but specifically my father, who was killed in Iraq in '04, and my husband, who was killed in Iraq in '05.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much for everything you do. TAPS is an amazing organization we're proud to recognize here today. Thank you so much for being here and all that you do for our troops.
Really appreciate the time to talk about this wonderful organization.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, back to you, JR and Rita.
Thank you, Kristian, so much. And now General Washington, well, he traveled 16 miles from his beloved home at Mount Vernon to be here with all of you today. Mount Vernon is the most popular historic site in America, and it welcomes guests, I love this, 365 days a year. George Washington, as I said, traveled 16 miles from his beloved home at Mount Vernon to be here with all of you today. The historic site is welcome to guests 365 days a year, and General Washington's participation is made possible in part by fundraising strategies. A supporter of the parade since 2005. He looks pretty good for his age.
He does.
Over the past 40 years, their team has been raising money for some of our nation's most worthy charitable causes.
This flag coming down the street is a replica of the Bennington flag. The actual relic flag is on display in Bennington, Vermont.
And it measures, JR, 15 by 20 feet and is among the most distinctive flags of the Revolutionary period. It has 13 white and red stripes and an arch of 11 six-pointed stars with 2 additional stars in the upper corners. Within the arch is the number 76, referring to the year that the Declaration of Independence was adopted.
And Rita, it measures 15 by 20 feet.
It sure does.
That's amazing. That's amazing what you said.
It's
it's beautiful.
absolutely
to
incredible.
see it in person, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's breathtaking to see down here, and just such a reminder. Look at also the great crowd that we have out. I love this out here today on such a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful
here
day
in the
in
nation's
DC.
capital.
From Tennessee, here is the Adamsville Junior and Senior High School Marching Band.
I'm Anna Cooper, Senior Field Commander.
And I'm Kelsey Martin, Senior Trumpet Section Leader.
Today is extra special to our marching band family as our recent state championship competition show was a salute to our hometown veterans.
As we meet veterans from all over the country here today in Washington, we salute you.
And we honor the many who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
The Sons of the American Revolution is a patriotic lineage society, and each of its members can trace its ancestry to one or more patriots of the American Revolution. With nearly 30,000 members and 500 chapters around the world, the Sons of the American Revolution strives to commemorate and provide memorials for the people and events of the American Revolution.
And this year, the Sons of the American Revolution celebrated its 125th anniversary on April 30th. Since its founding in 1889, 16 of 22 presidents of the United States have been members of the Sons of the American Revolution.
The motto for the American Veterans Center is guarding their legacy, honoring their sacrifice. Throughout our show, we will spotlight stories of sacrifice among our nation's fallen heroes.
And indeed, the first story that we're going to show you right now, JR, features the men of Operation Red Wings, very cool group, one of the most recognized and also one of the most deadly missions in the war in Afghanistan.
On June 28, 2005, in the Kunar province of Afghanistan, a 4-man team of committed Navy SEALs executed Operation Red Wings, a reconnaissance mission to scout an insurgent leader. When they encountered a highly trained enemy force, severely outnumbered, the SEALs embarked on a well-organized firefight against the enemy, fighting for their lives while trying to call their base for additional support. 3 of the SEALs, Michael P. Murphy, Matthew Axelson, and Danny Dietz, lost their lives after the 2-hour gunfight had ceased. An MH-47 Chinook helicopter was sent to retrieve the SEALs, and the soldiers on board willingly landed on hazardous terrain in hopes of helping their comrades. Upon arriving, a rocket-propelled grenade struck the helicopter and killed all 16 men on board, making Red Wings the most deadly mission of the Afghan war to date. Murphy would be posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, while Axelson and Dietz were awarded the Navy Cross. Coming up, a performance from the West Point Alumni Glee Club, and the parade honors the fallen of the Civil War. And later, a performance from Miss America.
And the Venice Middle School Young Marines, the nation's first Young Marine School magnet program. Venice Middle School Young Marines conduct a walk parade on the daily events in the Suncoast of Florida on the 40 United States, a strong sense of selfless service to others. The National Memorial Day Parade, sponsored by Wells Fargo, providing financial services to our country's military personnel since 1956. And by Booz Allen Hamilton, married to our nation's military community, veterans and their families since our founding in 1914.
And coming up, the West Point Alumni Glee Club. Their members averaging 20 years of active duty service with over 75% being combat veterans. Their motto continues to be, no fun without music, no music without fun. They perform over 40 times annually, and they are about to perform for all of us today.
Closed captioning brought to you by
Latte or Olay, cozy or cool, or exactly the way you want it, until boom, it's bedtime. Your mattress is a battleground of thwarted desire. Enter the Sleep Number bed, designed to let couples sleep together in individualized comfort. He's the softie. His Sleep Number setting is 35. You're the rock at 60. And snoring? Sleep Number's even got an adjustment for that. You can only find Sleep Number at a Sleep Number store. Hurry in for Memorial Day weekend savings. All beds are on sale, starting at just $649.99. No better sleep with Sleep Number.
The National Memorial Day Parade is sponsored by Wells Fargo, providing financial services to our country's military personnel since 1956. And by Booz Allen Hamilton, committed to our nation's military community, veterans, and their families since our founding in 1914.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the National American, actually, what is it?
the
It's
American Veterans Center National Memorial Day Parade.
From Washington, D.C., I'm J.R. Martinez, and this is my lovely co-host, Rita Cosby.
Thank you. So wonderful to be with all of you today.
And we want to thank the West Point Glee Club for that amazing performance.
They were fantastic.
That was a great job.
How cool was that?
Great
and also,
job.
the Coalition to Support America's Heroes is a first responder to the needs of returning veterans who often must contend with very, very severe wounds. They provide an array of support services, including emergency financial aid, which is desperately needed for our warriors coming back. And right now, let's go to Kristian Haglund, our beautiful street reporter, who has a very special guest with her. Kristian?
And thank you, Rita. We're back with David Walker. He's the president and CEO of the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes. David, thanks for being with us. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization?
The Coalition to Salute America's Heroes represents our men and women returning on the war on terror. What we do is we provide emergency aid. When men and women call and use our phones like they may be doing right now, they use words like repossess, foreclose, evict. We provide emergency aid so that they don't use another set of words like suicide, homelessness, abuse. Today, we get the honor to serve, as General Powell said yesterday in the concert, what more can we do? We can provide opportunities for recovery. We're with Sergeant John Peck, who's established a fund, the John Peck Fund, johnpeckfund.org. And today, the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, on behalf of the thousands of donors throughout this country, are providing a grant in the amount of $5,000 to kick off John Peck's fund.
Wow, thank you so much. Sergeant Peck, what does this mean to you and your family?
It's a lot because it's hard to be able to pay for the expenses going up to Boston, airfare, plane tickets, rental vehicles, hotel. That's expensive. It means a lot. It's a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergeant Peck and your family. Thank you, David Walker and the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes. And now back to you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Now we have the state of Georgia brings us the River Ridge Marching Knights.
Hello, I am Drum Major Leanza Bacala. And I'm Drum Major Mia Salino. We are very proud to be marching in today's parade, as our band program is only 4 years old and we are the largest organization in our school. While this is our first major appearance on the national stage, our next will be on the international stage, the 2015 London New Year's Parade. Thank you for watching, and please always remember our veterans.
And the next section of the parade is arriving right now as the National Memorial Day Parade by the American Veterans Center honors those who served in the Civil War.
That is right, Rita. Whitney Lester is appearing as President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. Whitney lives in Norfolk, Virginia, and has appeared in the Memorial Day Parade since 2005.
The Freed Ladies are an auxiliary organization of the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C. There they are. They portray a number of unknown or forgotten ladies of the Civil War era who made major contributions to the educational, medical, artistic, and social aspects of this great nation.
As they travel across the nation, they are so appreciative of the many awards and citations they continue to receive for their presentations of America's history and the contributions made by the ladies they portray during and after the Civil War.
The Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War was formed in 1881 to carry on the traditions and memory of the Grand Army of the Republic, the soldiers and sailors who fought to preserve the Union in the Civil War.
General John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, inaugurated Decoration Day on May 30th, 1868 to honor those who had fallen preserving the Union in the Civil War. We now call Decoration Day Memorial Day.
What a great reminder to all of us
Absolutely.
listening.
And marching this year are members of the Irish Brigade Camp from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and the Lincoln Cushing Camp from Washington, D.C.
Coming down Constitution Avenue from the state of Ohio is the Megs Marauder Band.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Smith, senior trombone player.
And I'm sophomore trumpet player Laura Perrin. Our marching band program has a long and proud tradition of excellence, having qualified for the Ohio Music Educators Association state finals for 23 consecutive years.
Today we're representing the southeastern Ohio region where the rolling foothills of the Appalachian Mountains meet West Virginia.
Let us all salute the fallen and be proud of the red, white, and blue.
The R.E. Lee Camp Number 726 Sons of Confederate Veterans is located in Alexandria, Virginia, not too far from here, and is under both the National and the Virginia Division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. The camp was founded on the 17th day of February 1927.
I love looking at their outfits. I love looking at their outfits. It's
I know,
amazing.
look at this. This is fantastic. Look at that dress. How would I look in that? What do you think, JR? Pretty good.
I couldn't pull it off. Well, they commit themselves to honoring their ancestors who served so nobly in that cause and to the continuation of those values for which they sacrificed to preserve for all Americans.
And here comes a living symbol of the American spirit, the Wells Fargo Stagecoach with David Helmuth handling the reins pretty nobly there. Wells Fargo first came to the nation's capital in July 1914 when W.C. Johnson opened a Wells Fargo Express office at 1221 G Street Northwest.
And customers in D.C. depended on Wells Fargo for sophisticated financial services and secure delivery of important money and valuables to distant locations using the fastest means available. The Wells Fargo Stagecoach rolls through the nation's capital for a Memorial Day parade, and they salute those who have fought and died to protect our country.
And now let's go to Kristian Hagelin, who's streetside for the very latest from there. Kristian.
Thank you so much, Rita. I'm here with some folks from Wells Fargo. We have Tyler Smith, he's from Community Development, Mike Golden, Regional President for Greater Washington, D.C., as well as Angela Vanderwerf. She's a manager for Community Development. We also are honored to have James Elkin and his wife, Megan. They're from Texas. James served with the U.S. Army in Afghanistan. And we have Ken Eakes. He's the Executive Director for the Military Warriors Support Foundation. So, Ken, can you tell me a little bit about what your organization does?
Sure. Well, we've been helping troops transition from service and those who are injured. We've now donated homes to warriors in 42 states, and we just don't donate the home. We actually have an education program that goes along with that. So we send them through an education piece for 3 years, and then at the completion of the 3 years, we then donate the home. We do quite a few other services as well, but the homes is the signature piece, and thanks to individuals like Tyler Smith here from Wells and Wells Fargo, we're able to just do great things for those who deserve them the most.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Wells Fargo is so happy to be here today, participating in the National Memorial Day Parade, honoring the brave men and women who have served our country. We are deeply committed to helping all service members reach their financial goals. We're proud to partner with the Military Warriors Support Foundation. There are two programs, Homes for Wounded Heroes and Homes for Gold Stars. Outstanding programs, making a lot of veterans happy. But today we want to recognize one special veteran, James Elkins, not only for his service as an Army Ranger, but for the work that he's done with wounded veterans after he returned home. But we'd like to make today a little bit more special than that. So on behalf of the Military Warriors Support Foundation, Wells Fargo, and a grateful nation, I'd like to present you keys to a new mortgage-free home in San Antonio, Texas.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What an incredible day and moment. How do you feel?
It's outstanding. I couldn't be any happier.
My goodness. And Wells Fargo, thank you so much. I know this is huge, incredible. What is this going to mean to you?
A lot. It will.
What are you going to do
right now? So I'm not sure.
What are you going to do first in that new house?
I think she's going to want to paint the walls. That's definitely her thing.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for your support to this great country. Thank you to Wells Fargo for supporting the parade, Military Warrior Support Foundation for all you do for our veterans, and thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. All right, back to you guys, Jay and Rita. Actually, we'll be right back with more parade right after this. See you soon.
When the National Memorial Day Parade continues live from Washington, D.C., we remember those who served in the Spanish, American, and First World Wars.
Welcome back to our coverage of the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade. I'm J.R. Martinez, my co-host Rita Cosby.
Great to be with all of you. And the National Memorial Day Parade honors those who served in World War II. More than 16 million Americans served in World War II, while more than 400,000 died, marking a truly the defining moment of the 20th century. We would like to thank GEICO for the support of this parade. And since its founding in 1936, GEICO has proudly served those who served. They are honored to support this year's National Memorial Day Parade. And now let's head down street side to Kristian Hagelin. Kristian.
Hi, thank you, Rita. I'm standing here with the reviewing officers for today's parade. We have Admiral Mark Ferguson and we have Lieutenant General. Lieutenant General?
Mark Faulkner.
Mark Faulkner, thank you so much for being here. So, Admiral, tell me a little bit about what Memorial Day means to you and all of the men and women of our Navy.
I think Memorial Day means a moment that we stop as a country and commemorate the service of generations past, of the fallen, of their families that have lost a loved one, and of those that are serving today around the globe, the tens of thousands that are standing watch to defend our freedom and the values we hold dear.
Absolutely. And Lieutenant General, how is the Marine Corps handling the challenges of the 21st century?
Well, Kristian, America continues to be, the Marine Corps continues to be America's crisis response force. Today, as we enjoy this parade, over 37,000 Marines are forward deployed around the globe, a lot of them with their shipmates in the Navy. But the Marine Corps continues to be the most ready when our nation is the least ready. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for our troops. Thank you for being a part of this parade today. It means so much to our men and women. All right, JR and Rita, back to you.
All right, Kristian, thanks so much.
Thank you, Kristian. The National Moment of Remembrance established by Congress asks all Americans wherever they are at 3 p.m. local time on Memorial Day afternoon to pause in an act of national unity.
And right now, the National Memorial Day Parade will participate in that event, coming to a complete stop for 1 minute while taps will be played in honor of all of those who sacrificed their lives. Wherever you are, please join us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I see.
And singing Amazing Grace was Master Sergeant.
What an amazing moment to see that, seeing taps in Amazing Grace, and it reminds us all of so many people who have sacrificed so much for all of us.
It's so touching, it really is. And right now we have a very special guest with us, Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Wesley Fox. Sir, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be a part of recognition of servicemen to our great country.
Yes, sir. Well, Colonel Fox, what has it meant to you to be recognized with our nation's highest military honor?
Well, of course, I'm honored with the recognition, but along with that is my recognition of the fact that it wasn't just me, it was my Marines.
Yes,
it was the fight we won as a team, as a family, really, and we all had a part in it, and each one did a great job. And what I'm saying there is 2 others I know deserved the Medal of Honor. They were killed in the fight, 2 of my lieutenants, but I didn't see what they did. I just know what they had to have done for us to win what we did. What I'm saying there is I had less than 90 Marines in my rifle company, and there were 105 dead North Vietnamese in the position when it was over. So we were really outnumbered with machine guns and everything, but my Marines just carried the fight forward. And what I was saying about my 2 lieutenants, one was the executive officer, the other one of the platoon commanders. I wrote them up for the Medal of Honor, but it wouldn't go through because I couldn't get the required 2 eyewitnesses. All the Marines were either killed, wounded, and medevaced out, so it didn't have the witnesses. So they were downgraded to the Navy Cross. So it's, of course, an honor to me to recognize, from our country, to recognize what my Marines did. And of course I also recognize they gave me the credit for it, but it was all, well, I had 12 Marines killed in that fight and 54 seriously wounded that had to be medevaced out after the fight was over. So that's why I lost all the eyewitnesses for the actions.
Well, I want to say, Colonel Fox, thank goodness you survived to talk about their heroism and to share it with all of us. It's really a real honor to have you here today, sir. Thank you dearly. What a real pleasure. A true American hero.
Thank you,
Colonel Wesley Fox, great American hero, Medal of Honor recipient. You can tell the story for all of those who could not. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you, Colonel, for joining us. 100 years ago, World War I brought major changes to the world in politics, technology, and culture. Over 4 million American men and women fought and sacrificed during the war.
And here is a 1918 Ford Model T ambulance owned by the U.S. Army Medical History Command in Fort Worth, Texas. Over 15,000 Ford Model Ts hauled American troops during the fighting.
And here is a 1919 Packard Liberty truck restored by David Lockard of York Springs, Pennsylvania. This is a big 3-ton truck. This big 3-ton truck became the backbone of the Army transportation during World War I.
And the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission was recently set up by Congress. The acting chairman of the Centennial Commission is Robert D'Alessandro. Robert is riding in the Packard Liberty truck.
That's so cool. And please welcome Bryan High School Viking Band from the great state of Texas.
Good afternoon. I am Band President Zoe Clark.
And I am Head Drum Major James Mosqueda. Our marching band comes from the hometown of Texas A&M University.
We are performing a Texas salute to the armed forces. We will feature all of the service marches with a touch of the Texas Aggies.
Our first appearance in this parade was in 2004 during the inauguration of the World War II Memorial.
We are honored and thrilled to be back in Washington, D.C.
And now what you see, ladies and gentlemen, is a 1918 American LaFrance Type 40 triple combination fire engine. This truck was ordered by the United States Quartermaster Corps and was shipped to France for World War I. This is the only known fire truck to exist from World War I.
And these type of fire trucks were used to protect the camps whose buildings were mostly wooden structures from fires during the war. The truck recently went through a restoration and is owned by Monica Janning of Ohio.
And this next float comes to us from Lions Club of Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Lions Club International is the world's largest service club organization with more than 1.35 million members, representing approximately 46,000 clubs in more than 200 countries and geographical areas around the world.
Wow, look at that sea of yellow this year. The float's theme is Follow Your Dream to represent the goal of the Lions worldwide. Riding on the float is Lions International Director from Virginia, Dr. Hauser Weiler, and also riding are Lions veterans recognized for their red, white, and blue sashes. You can see a lot of them there. Accompanying the float are the Marching Lions from more than 150 local clubs. These Marching Lion members are carrying their Lions Club banners that denote both the name of the club and the community they serve.
And now we have the Monrovia High School Marching Wildcats from the great state of California.
And now we welcome the Honorary Marshal representing those who served in World War II. Look how great he looks. Mr. Hugh O'Brien, there he is.
He is riding in style. And he should, because at the age of 17, Hugh served as the youngest drill instructor in the U.S. Marine Corps during World War II. He would go on to great fame as the star of the ABC series, The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp. From 1955 to 1961, his Hugh Bryan Youth Leadership Program has served some 400,000 young people, helping them to learn principles of leadership and character. Perfect man to do it.
He looks great. The next float is brought to you by Strayer University. There it is, a 120-year-old higher education institution with campuses across the U.S., Washington, D.C., and also online. They have many resources and support tools, including free academic tutoring, personal success coaches, tuition assistance programs, and flexible course scheduling to help make this dream a reality.
And riding on the float is Kristian Bush, one half of platinum-selling country duo Sugarland. A Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist, Kristian is in the process of completing his debut solo album with an eye on releasing it later this year. Fans can currently find him on the road with his 2014 Put Your Soul Into It tour.
And the song he's about to perform right now is Story of a Soldier. It can be downloaded from the link on your screen, with proceeds going to support today's parade. And now, here he is, the one and only Kristian Bush.
Hello, hello. Ah, there you are. I see you. I got you now. Backyard, hide behind any tree. I could sneak up on the next door neighbors and you never know it's me. The story of a soldier, wait till I get older. It's all that I ever wanna do. I could be a soldier. just like you. I love my mom and sister, I'd do anything to keep them safe. Take a punch and stand back up, you won't see a tear on my face. Drive jets and jeeps and ships and tanks, never leave anyone behind. I never need a thank you note or a parade of any kind. The story of a soldier, wait till I get older. It's all that I ever wanna do. I could be a soldier. Wait till I get older. I could be a soldier just like you.
Kristian, you rock, baby. Well, when the nation's World War II memorial was dedicated in 2004, the American Veterans Center helped organize a parade in honor of those veterans who were able to attend the ceremonies like great ones today.
And it was out of that parade that the National Memorial Day Parade grew. Leading the salute are flags representing the original Allied nations of World War II.
The Tuskegee Airmen performed all duties necessary to become self-sufficient military units in the Army Air Corps and were collectively awarded the Congressional Medal at the U.S. Capitol in 2007 for their efforts during World War II.
That's right. And with us today are Dr. Ivan Ware, Major Anderson, and William Fontroy, representing the highly decorated units commonly known as the legendary Tuskegee Airmen.
Please welcome veterans of the Army's 99th Infantry Division, representing all who served in the infantry during World War II. They are heroes of the Battle of the Bulge, the Ruhr Pocket, Central Germany, the Isar River, and Bavaria.
And their support is supported by Saab. America's veterans have made great sacrifices to secure the freedom of our nation and our citizens. Saab Defense and Security is proud to honor their service.
And coming down the parade route now is Clark County High School Marching Band from the great state of Missouri.
Now let's go back to Kristian Hagelin, who is street side.
Hey JR, I'm standing here with wounded warrior Rob Jones. He has an absolutely incredible story. Tell us a little bit about your service.
Sure, yeah, I joined the Marine Corps in 2006 as a combat engineer. My first deployment was in 2008 to Habaniyah, Iraq, and my second was to Iraq and Afghanistan in 2010.
Thank you so much for your service. Now, you have embraced sports as a part of your recovery. You've become a Paralympian, you've rode your bike cross country. How can being active help our troops that are coming home from war?
I think a lot of guys that get wounded already have a plan for themselves before they get wounded, and then when they are wounded, that plan kind of goes awry. So I think sports are a way to give yourself a new avenue that you can really throw yourself into, so that in turn helps you stay positive.
Absolutely. And speaking of staying positive, how is it that you have kept such a positive outlook through all of your journey?
I just think that I realized early on that you only get one life. You got to make the best out of it. And I accepted my situation, and I took on the challenge of seeing what I could do with it.
It's absolutely incredible. You're such an inspiration to so many, and we are so grateful to you for your service. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We're not sure.
All right, back to you, JR and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you very much for that. Now, please welcome,
You can see right now the Navy Club of the United States of America. We got to welcome them. My God, Ship 166 from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, is proud to represent the Navy Club United States of America national body. And that group was chartered by Congress, right?
That's right, and the organization was the first to place a memorial at Pearl Harbor on Ford Island and was requested by the Secretary of Defense to initiate a fundraising drive to raise money for the Arizona Memorial.
Please welcome the Methuen High School Ranger Marching Band and Color Guard from Massachusetts.
U-Haul is once again honored to be a proud sponsor of the parade and to be able to remind the public about the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor and remember all of the men and women who have given so selflessly for our freedom, and to honor the families that they left behind.
Look at that great contingent from U-Haul. And now our next marching band down Constitution Avenue is from the Sunshine State of Florida.
Would be a day that lived in infamy. Today, over 70 years later, the remaining survivors of the attack proudly honor the sacrifice of their fallen comrades and shipmates by reminding each of us to remember Pearl Harbor.
In 2010, Congress unanimously voted in support of having a permanent day each year to honor America's greatest generation, so that their example of courage, shared sacrifice, and service will continue to inspire future generations of Americans. Spirit of 45 Day is now being observed on the second Sunday in August. Leading the group is Captain Jerry Yellen, the pilot who flew the final combat mission of World War II on August 14, 1945.
How cool is that? And today, hundreds of youth are carrying photographs of some of the ordinary heroes who gave their lives in service to our country during World War II.
Wow.
Also with them today is the Spirit of 45 Day Express, which is traveling throughout the country to help promote events and activities commemorating the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II.
Look at that.
How beautiful.
Wow.
What a great tribute. How moving to see all those faces and those pictures.
It definitely jerks at your heartstrings, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
It definitely does. Puts a face to it all. And we'll be back with more of our parade coverage after this.
Additional consideration brought to you by
I'm a simple person. If I could do it myself, I will. If I can save money doing it myself, yeah, I'm a do it.
Every day, millions of business owners count on Vistaprint to professionally promote their business easily and affordably.
I was so happy when I opened the box and I looked at it. I showed everyone.
Enter promo code TV500 today and get 500 cards for only $9.99.
Oh, check this out. I did this.
Vistaprint.com.
2 weeks after coloring your hair, those gray roots start to show. EverPro Beauty introduces a revolutionary breakthrough in hair care with Gray Away. Spray the gray away in 10 seconds. It's the smart solution to temporarily touch up gray roots. Gray Away's rich formula lasts until your next shampoo. Unique color technology matches any hair color from root to tip. Gray Away looks and feels 100% natural. EverPro Beauty Gray Away, available in the hair care section at these fine stores.
playing Dear Old Nebraska to You. Patriotic salute, Main Street America, right down Constitution Avenue today.
A special thank you to the junior ROTC groups that are helping us with the parade today. Big Branch High School, baby, junior ROTC in Maryland. John F. Kennedy High School, baby, junior ROTC. Oakland Mills High School Air Force, junior ROTC. And the Calvin Coolidge High School, baby, junior ROTC.
The National Memorial Day Parade is sponsored in part by VisitMyrtleBeach.com, America's most affordable beach destination. Geico, proudly serving those who served since 1936. And by USVA, proudly serving our country's military personnel and veterans with affordable life insurance since 1959.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rita Cosby, along with the great veteran and my buddy J.R. Martinez.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the parade: Booz Allen Hamilton, Long Fence, New Day USA,
Lots of good
Costco,
sponsors.
National Rifle Association, HBO, Safeway, USBA, Washington Examiner, and WTOP. Amazing.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you. And we would also like to thank Robert Augustinelli. He is the co-chairman and one of the great guys, a great friend of the National Memorial Day Parade. We want to thank him for his strong support of this great event this year and every year. And now let's head back to the street, some more of the parade. Here it is.
And here is the North Plate High School Bulldog Marching Band from the great state of Nebraska.
I am senior drum major Kristian Wolschlager.
And I am junior drum major Brady Cooper. We're from the great state of Nebraska.
Our hometown, North Platte, has the largest railroad yard in the world and was the home of Buffalo Bill Cody, now a state park.
One of the songs we are playing is Dear Old Nebraska U, in honor of the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers.
This is our first appearance in this wonderful parade.
And we're proud to welcome the Honorary Marshal representing veterans of the Korean War, retired Air Force Colonel and legendary astronaut, the second man to walk on the moon. There he is, Buzz Aldrin, a graduate of West Point. Colonel Aldrin flew 66 combat missions in Korea, shooting down 2 enemy planes.
And Rita, he is one cool cat. I tell you what, he was selected as NASA's third group of astronauts in 1963, and on July 21st, 1969, as you said, he became the second man to set foot on the moon.
What an incredible feat, and look how great he looks there. And the next float is a special tribute to the heroes of D-Day 70 years ago, sponsored by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. They are a proud supporter of our military personnel, and they are honored to be a part of the National Memorial Day Parade.
And as the home of the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, we understand the sacrifice our veterans and their families make in the name of freedom. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina salutes and thanks our U.S. military heroes for their service to our nation.
On the float are 2 decorated veterans of D-Day, Colonel Ed Shamus of the famed Band of Brothers and Robert Cherry, who landed on Omaha Beach.
Wow.
Also riding on the float is Nina Davuluri. She is Miss America 2014. Look at there. She joins us with a performance of God Bless America, and here she is.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America.
is right, Miss America. God bless America. Marching into view now from South Carolina is the Gaffney High School Band of Gold.
High School Band of Gold.
We are proud to be representing South Carolina.
This year, our school is celebrating our 90th anniversary, which means our school was born between World War I and World War II.
Your Grand Old Flag is the musical selection we have chose to play as we march down Constitution Avenue.
And as we always say, who are we?
BOG.
The Sergeant Reckless Memorial Fund is a non-profit dedicated to raising money and building monuments honoring the great Korean War horse hero, Sergeant Reckless. A horse so heroic, she's in Life magazine as one of our all-time greatest heroes. One monument stands at the National Museum of the Marine Corps in Triangle, Virginia, and a second monument is now underway at the Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton in California, where Reckless lived out her days and is buried.
And this Sergeant Reckless lookalike is wearing an authentic replica blanket of the one worn when Reckless landed in America from Korea in 1954, complete with ribbons and 2 Purple Hearts.
Approaching is the Japanese American Veteran Association, led by President Gerald Yamada. This nationwide organization represents Japanese Americans and other Asian American veterans who have served in both war and peacetime. Many members are World War II combat veterans who served in the famous 442nd Go for Broke Regimental Combat Team and the Military Intelligence Service.
Marching into view now are veterans making up the Honor Guard Dorwick American Legion Post 218 from Sharptown, Maryland. Scott McMahon is the group's leader.
He sure is. Leading the National Memorial Day Parade's tribute to those who served in Vietnam. There they are, Rolling Thunder, Maryland Chapter 1. The major function of Rolling Thunder is to publicize the POW MIA issue and to educate the public that many American prisoners of war were left behind after all previous wars.
It's a beautiful thing to hear them come down the street. Maryland Chapter 1 was established in 2006. They are one of almost 90 chapters throughout the United States. Rolling Thunder is among the largest annual events in Washington, drawing hundreds of thousands motorcyclists every single year.
I love seeing those men and women and just seeing them rolling down the streets. What a great remembrance.
I want to get on a bike.
I do too. I love those guys. And we're now honored to welcome the honorary marshal representing those who served in Vietnam, the 28th Commandant of the Marine Corps, General P.X. Kelly.
General Kelly served for 37 years, rising from 2nd lieutenant to 4-star general. He held a variety of commands and was decorated for battlefield valor while deployed to Vietnam. We would also like to give a special thanks to Stars and Stripes for being the official print partner of the National Memorial Day Parade.
You can hear them revving up, and these are the Vietnam Veterans of America there. Chapter 641. Once a month, right here in the nation's capital, they wash the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. They're known as the Wall Washing Crew. They also volunteer to clean wheelchairs at the D.C. Veterans Hospital, and they spend Christmas Day giving gifts at veterans hospitals.
Wow. And walking in the parade with these American Vietnam veterans are military families from South Vietnam and Australia.
And here is a very interesting banner. It says, Mr. Sampson, you have the next watch. And it is a shout out from American Veterans Center President Jim Roberts and Barry Steelman to their old Navy shipmate from the Vietnam War, Jeff Sampson, who has been fighting his own courageous battle against cancer. What a beautiful, beautiful message, and our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And now let's head back street side to Constitution Avenue for Kristian.
Thanks, Rita. I'm standing here with Tim Rayner. He's a pilot with American Airlines, head of their Veterans Initiatives. He's also a colonel in the U.S. Marine Corps. So, Tim, welcome. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Snowball Express and what American Airlines is doing with that program?
You bet, Kirsten. Thank you very much. So, yeah, American Airlines charters 10 aircraft every year to fly 1,500 Gold Star family members to Dallas-Fort Worth. As the title sponsor for Snowball Express, we bring these Gold Star families for a week of healing to Dallas-Fort Worth. This year will be no exception. In December, we'll do the same thing again. American Airlines is really proud to be a title sponsor for Snowball Express and many other military programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for all American Airlines does. Now, we also have Tim Holbert. He's with the American Veterans Center. And so, Tim, American Veterans Center produces this fabulous parade every year. Can you give us a little bit of info about American Veterans Center and how folks at home can support this parade and all you do?
Sure, absolutely. Well, the American Veterans Center is really about, as you've seen throughout today's show, guarding the legacy and honoring the sacrifice of our veterans. So we offer all veterans an opportunity to visit our website, learn about what we do at AmericanVeteransCenter.org.
So what's the best way for families that are at home to contribute? Is it give a donation? Is it support our troops, thank a veteran? What's the most tangible thing that they can do?
You know, it's really all of the above. It's about thanking your veterans and thanking them for their service.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Well, it's been a real honor for me to be a part of this parade every single year, and I know it does so much for the D.C. metro area and all of our troops that are watching abroad. Thank you so much on behalf of all of us here in D.C. Anything else you want to say to our vets who might be watching in Iraq and Afghanistan today?
We just want to thank you for your service. Everybody's thinking about you, and we're doing this parade here, obviously, to remember the fallen, but also for all of you serving around the world. So thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be remembering all those who fought in every war to protect and defend this country, so we thank them very, very much. All right, we'll be back with more parade coverage right after this. Stay tuned.
Bravo, you guys.
Just beautiful. Go up.
Brought to you by
Ron White is a veteran of the war in Afghanistan in 2007. He served in the Navy from 2002 to 2010, and when he returned, he wanted to create a tribute to say, "You are not forgotten." As a two-time USA memory champion, he memorized the fallen from Afghanistan, their rank, first name and last name. Believe it or not, it is 7,000 words, JR.
There is so many great stories here in today's parade, but this one really kind of, it blows my mind. It took him 10 months to memorize the names, and it takes him 11 hours to write out each time he does it on the memory wall. Today on the National Mall, it is the 12th time he has written on the wall. Amazing. The message the families say to him is, "Thank you for keeping our loved ones' memory alive." And we say thank you for remembering, and you have quite a talent. It really is quite amazing.
It is. What a beautiful, beautiful tribute. And welcome back to Washington, D.C. I'm Rita Cosby, here with Army veteran J.R. Martinez.
Now let's head back to the parade route. So the National Memorial Day Parade salutes those who have served in the Gulf War. Please welcome veterans who served in the 101st Airborne Division, which is the unit I serve with, Rita.
Oh, it is awesome. Yay. Go Screaming Eagles.
Screaming Eagles. In Operation Desert Storm, the Screaming Eagles executed the longest helicopter-borne assault in history. The division has completed several deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan, and a portion is currently deployed in Afghanistan.
Go JR's unit. And carrying the veterans are members of the Central Virginia Mustang Club. It's a nonprofit society to promote the safe and enjoyable use of all Mustangs, Fords, and Ford-powered vehicles. The people of Kuwait, one of our staunchest allies, wish to convey their deep appreciation for those who served in the Gulf War.
Yeah, and we have the following message from the ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Al-Sabah.
The very special relationship between Kuwait and the U.S. Armed Forces was forged and actually cemented during the first Gulf War. In 1990 and 91, we Kuwaitis watched in amazement and admiration as the U.S. Armed Forces put themselves in harm's way to liberate my country. And ever since that day, we've had a very special place in our hearts and our minds for the U.S. Armed Forces. And that's why we are present at Memorial Day with our float, and we will always be there to say thank you.
The parade's official airline, American Airlines, is also the presenting sponsor of Snowball Express, the nonprofit organization created to provide hope and new memories for the children of military fallen heroes who have died while on active duty since 9/11.
And Captain Mark Stubenhofer was a 30-year-old captain in the U.S. Army. He was killed on December 7, 2004 in Iraq as his mechanized infantry unit was attacked by insurgents outside its vehicles in Baghdad. Today we are honored to have his family riding in this parade, his wife Patricia and his children. There they are, Hope, Justin, and Lauren.
And here is the Peters Township High School Mighty Indian Marching Band from the great state of Pennsylvania.
And now let's head down to the street. And Kirsten Haglund, what do you got for us?
All right. Thanks so much, Rita. It's great to be here with two of NBC's new medical drama actors from The Night Shift. It's going to premiere tomorrow, actually, Tuesday, May 27th at 10/9 Central. I'm here with Owen Mackin. He plays Dr. T.C. Callahan, and Jill Flint, who plays Dr. Jordan Alexander. So Owen, tell me, you play a character who has just returned from Afghanistan?
Yeah, it's a very important aspect of the show is the fact that it's actually set in the night shift of an army hospital. And TC is an ex-Afghanistan war vet who's returned after 3 tours. Wow. And so he kind of brings all that into how he kind of deals with patients and what he brings to the show. And that's a very important part of it.
Absolutely. Wow, what an incredible show. I got to tune in and watch. So Jill, tell me a little bit about what you do and what the sacrifice of our men and women serving overseas means to you.
I play Dr. Jordan Alexander on the show. She is an ER doctor of the night shift. And more importantly, I'm grateful to be here today. Wow. Absolutely grateful and honored that I get to celebrate here and honor the men and women in uniform.
Absolutely. Well, Memorial Day means so much to everyone, and we're so glad to have you here. That's The Night Shift. It premieres on NBC tomorrow, so make sure you tune in and watch and support our troops. We'll be right back with more parade coverage right after this.
Coming up live, the parade salutes the generation that sacrificed in Operation Iraqi Freedom and the grand finale of active duty troops.
National Memorial Day Parade, sponsored by Give 100% Your Country. We're proud to give you 100% to you. Today, USA.
Welcome back to the National Memorial Day Parade. I'm Rita Cosby.
And I'm JR Martinez. And now let's go head back to Constitution Avenue for more of the parade. Please welcome the Union Area High School Scotty Marching Band from the great state of Pennsylvania.
And now, please welcome the Massachusetts Maritime Academy Regimental Band and the Honor Guard, comprised of cadets from the band, Honor Guard, and Precision.
The Massachusetts Maritime Academy Regimental Band and Honor Guard is made up of cadets from the band, Honor Guard, and Precision Drill Team. The Regimental Band and Honor Guard performs daily for the regiment of 1,200 cadets during the Academy's observance of morning colors.
The group promotes the Massachusetts Maritime Academy mission by showcasing leadership, discipline, and knowledge through music, drill, and ceremony performances at public and academy venues. And now for the parade's grand finale. There it is, led by active duty service personnel from the U.S. Army and Army Reserves, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force.
We are especially proud and honored to welcome home many of these troops who have just recently returned from deployment overseas.
These soldiers, sailors, and airmen are marching today in honor of the more than 6,700 service members who have died while serving in Afghanistan and Iraq.
And we would like to thank New Day USA for supporting our troops at today's parade. It is companies like this that are proud to honor the service of America's veterans.
What a beautiful sight. We're honored to have them all here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The National Memorial Day Parade from Washington, D.C. will continue live in just a moment.
Coming up, the Cosby High School Marching Band from Lebanon, Pennsylvania. We're so happy to see you today. They're an extracurricular and all volunteer activities with the community society. They began to listen to
And we thank Drum Major Taylor Schwartz and Andrew Campbell for under the direction of Joseph Sinclair.
Next up, welcome the marchers. Coming out of the City University of New York, comprising University Student Senate, Brooklyn College Veteran Students Organization,
Welcome back to our live coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade.
What a great day, and let's go back to the parade route.
From the state of Pennsylvania, here are the Hazleton Area High School Marching Cougars. The band consists of students from grades 9 through 12 and perform throughout the school year in parades, competitions, community and holiday celebrations, and public concerts.
The Marching Cougars travel each year as ambassadors of the Hazleton Area School District to perform in such places as Chicago, Boston, Toronto, Florida, to name a few.
Thank you all for watching today. Rita, it's been an incredible day with lots of inspirational stories, and we would like to thank all of the veterans, parade marchers, and volunteers.
Absolutely, and a special thank you to the American Veterans Center and all of the sponsors. Kristian?
It's been quite a day talking to so many amazing people. It's been an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me again. Back to you.
Well, to those of you serving in harm's way, stay safe, and thank you for your service.
And we will see you back here next year on Constitution Avenue. Goodbye, everybody. It's been an honor being with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome job. Thank you, all of you who serve us so proudly.
See you next year, right here on Constitution Avenue. Goodbye, everyone, and God bless America.